Hey, it's me again, Chris, C2 Local. This is episode 2 of the Restart, and in this episode, I kind of want to lay down the guts, the stuff I'm going to be hitting on a regular basis to prove that this stuff ain't rocket science, and you can do it if you understand what you're doing, and to lay out these are the things that you should be looking for. So, like I said, it's not rocket science. All right, so the thesis I'm going to hit you with in this particular run through is that marketing, local marketing, it's not new and it hasn't changed. What I mean by it hasn't changed, I mean it's changed. The way you do it has changed, but what you're doing has not changed. And it hasn't changed since before the 60s. I'm only going to go back to the 60s because I wasn't around before that, so I'm not going to speak on that, but I think you get the idea. At the end of the day, marketing comes down to about 4 things. These are the 4 things that I'm always going to refer to as the fundamentals. It's attention, conversion, follow-up, consistency. That's it. Everything else that you're going to hear falls into one of those 4 buckets. And I was going to point out in this episode that it's always been that way. So when you're going forward and you're bumping into the new hotness, because there's always going to be a new hotness, you have a way of looking at it and going, where does this fit? Because just because it's the new hotness doesn't mean it's new for you. You may not need it. Anyway, so let's go back down memory lane just a little bit. Attention. So you remember before the internet? Well, maybe you don't. Everyone's not rocking since the 60s. So anyway, before the internet, there was still, how do you get people's attention? There was direct mail where people would just blow up your not your inbox, your mailbox. And then there was, of course, the yellow pages, and there was newspaper, magazines, and advertisements like that. And the way you grabbed attention was you had the biggest, most outstanding copy. You had the biggest postcard that showed up in the mailbox. You had the biggest section of the page on the yellow pages. So, and of course, that cost. But the whole idea was to get you to stop the scroll. Of course, they didn't call it stopping the scroll back then. It was just grabbing your attention in a group of similar looking things. And one of the other things that was very different was conversion. They had to get you to do something. So they'd send you a postcard or something like that, and there'd be a coupon on it or something that you could respond to. And this is one of those things that's really drastically changed with the internet. Because with the internet, you can respond like that. Back in the day, nope. So, and not only could you not respond back in the day, it took a while for the people who were doing the advertising to figure out what was going on, to figure out what was working. They could send out, say, 10,000 mailers and only 200 people respond. Now, I don't know whether that's success or not, but those 200 people are the only 200 that they know raised their hands. So that's the only way that they knew who they could follow up with. And the fact that they responded, that was the conversion. That was the, I got you to do something. And that was the thing that gets you closer to a sale. Nowadays, it's a little bit different. So say you come to my website and look around. If you don't click a single thing, I already know that you were there because I got software on my website. It doesn't tell me who you are by name. There is software that does that, but I don't have it because I don't need it. But it tells me that someone was there. And it tells me which pages on my website you took a look at. So I can tweak my website to increase the effectiveness of the website of the copy on the page. So I've got all kinds of tools now that we didn't have then. But the thing we're doing, it's the same. So when I say marketing hasn't changed, that's what I'm talking about. The goal has always been the same. Attention. Get the attention, one way, shape, or form, of the folks who are somewhat interested in the thing that you do. And then conversion, get them to stop being anonymous, get them to raise their hands. And if not to say, hey, I want to talk to you, say, I'm interested. It's one way, shape, or form. Always been the way it is, because as long as they're anonymous, you can't do nothing with them. And then after that, there's follow-up and consistency. And those are the 2 that people tend to forget. Follow-up means if someone raises their hands, do something. Don't just sit there and go, that was cool. No, if they raise their hands, that means you now need to take a next step if you're trying to build your business. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But for right now, I just want to just bring home the fact that all this stuff has always been the way it is. And okay, and last but not least is consistency. And with consistency, if you don't do it on a regular basis, why are you doing it? I'm just going to leave that right there. If you can't do whatever it is you're doing on a regular basis, don't do it, because it's just a waste of your time and it just annoys other people. The bottom line is, if you're going to do this thing called marketing, understand that it's not something that you kind of play with. You got to program it in, and you got to do it on a consistent basis. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Most people don't pay attention to all of them. I'm going to make sure that you understand everything that you're supposed to be paying attention to. Yeah, I guess that's it for now. I'll talk to you next time. By the way, next time we're going to start digging into the fundamentals. I know I did a drive-by this time, but the next few episodes, I'm really going to dig into what the fundamentals are and what you should be paying attention to. So as we talk about things in the future, you'll understand what we're doing. All right, talk to you later. Bye.